All right, guys. My name's Tyrone Fernandez. I'm a first-generation black male living in America in 2019. All right, guys, let's get this started. All right, so it says, what is your diagnosis? When did you learn about it? If I could be honest, I really don't know if I necessarily have a diagnosis. Well, I never really got diagnosed with anything. I can say if I had to guess within myself and knowing myself, it was definitely anxiety as well. That's something that I've suffered with in my past. I've never seen a doctor about it because it's never seemed to get to the point where I needed to see a doctor about it. Something that I may need to do sometime in the future, but for right now, I'm coasting, but there are a few things that are affecting me on a day-to-day that I would like to speak to you guys about today. When is the right time to tell your partner? I feel like don't start off the first date and say your name's Tyrone and I have anxiety, but I feel like it's something that you should definitely get into very soon. You should let them know exactly how you are, how you feel, so that they don't get confused when things get real rough and you really start to go through an anxiety attack and they're looking at you like, whoa, like where'd this come from? I feel like it's very smart to let them know way ahead of time before things get too serious, because the simple fact that you're going to realize in the long term who is willing to be in your life and who is worth it to be in your life, because as soon as you have one big anxiety attack and they're looking at you differently, maybe even judgmentally, then you know for a fact that you've been wasting your time with that person. You're going to really wean out who deserves to be and who doesn't deserve to be in your life moving forward. What's the most offensive thing someone has said about your illness? I don't know. I can't really say anyone has ever really said anything offensive about my illness. I can tell you that people, obviously, like I've heard before, don't necessarily take anxiety as seriously, especially being a black male, and also on top of that, like I mentioned earlier, first generation black male, Guyanese male as well. So where my parents come from, it doesn't necessarily reflect how they are, but where they come from, like things are just very like stern, strict, and like it's kind of, you can't really feel comfortable to let people know about your I guess you could say weakness, but I wouldn't call it a weakness, but like that's what they would make you feel like if you tell them like, hey, like I'm having anxiety. It's like, no, just like boss up, man up, like you got to get through it, blah, 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 blah. But that's not always the case, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you really have to take a second, discuss it, have someone try to help you, empathize with you, even if you end up crying or whatever the case may be, like sometimes it's okay to just let it out and, move past it. But it's not always okay for someone to just tell you like, hey, like it's not a real thing, or even if it's a real thing, just deal with it, because those are the people that end up becoming suicidal because they feel like they're all alone in this, and you should never feel like you're all alone in this. How long did it take you to seek help? What deterred you? I never really seeked help in a way. I feel like if I did seek help, I found it in the fact that I play music and just especially when I was young and I was in a band playing guitar and drums, and I used to write a lot of the music. Like I found a lot of help, a lot of knowledge within myself and who I want to be and where I want to be in life through just writing songs and painting these fictional pictures, but going off of my reality and not necessarily always saying it was me or how I'm feeling. Just putting out a song out there, and like people will hear and they'll go, oh, that's beautiful, and I don't necessarily always go like, yeah, like that's how I felt. Like I just make it seem like that might have came from this fictional character in my head or whatever the case may be. And it's been like my own sense of therapy, because I go out there, I go on the stage, I perform it, and then you see people that identify with it, and then they come up to you and they just talk to you about it, and they tell you like, whoa, like you have no idea what that's done for me, or how that's made me change my perspective in positive ways, or whatever the case may be. So it's like I've treated myself through my love of music. How has it affected your day-to-day? It's affected my day-to-day because for the simple fact, like sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be in a mood and it won't even be a real reason, or I can't even really pinpoint a reason, but it's just like I'm just in a quiet mood and I just don't feel like talking, and I don't necessarily don't feel like being bothered, but it's just like, I don't know, like I could wake up one day and I'll be happy and ready to go, and then I could wake up another day and I feel like almost like a form of depression, to the point where it's like I just don't feel like moving. I feel like tired. I feel not even necessarily like a sense of like hunger, like a no appetite, like things like that. Like I can say like I do get seasonal depression as well, especially in the winter time, which is ironic because that's approaching my birthday, because my birthday is December 2nd. So that's approaching towards winter time, and I do know like lack of sunlight and vitamin D and all that stuff, like that does give me seasonal depression, and I find myself just being like a little more tired and just defeated. But at the same time, I can identify with that, and every day that I realize that I'm able to identify what problems I may have is already like halfway to winning the battle, because I already know what I need to work on, and I'm coming up with different strategies and techniques every day to work on. And just new relationships in my life has just been helping me become better, stronger, and the powerful man that I know that I am. Be careful. What do you wish you could tell your younger self? If I could tell Lil Rome anything, I would just tell him like, hey, stay strong. Obviously, I wouldn't change a damn thing. Everything that I've been through has made me who I am today, and I'm very proud to be the man that I am today. I would just literally tell him stay strong and make the most of every opportunity. You know, there are a couple things that I wish I paid attention to more back in the day, or I could have took a little more seriously, or just been a little less lazy about, or whatever the case may be. But you know, especially when you're young, you don't really realize how precious and how short life can be until you grow up. And as you live decades and decades, then you see like people starting to disappear, and you're just like, whoa, like life is just, you know, death is guaranteed. And it's like, I saw this on the internet the other day, and it's like basically saying like how people say you only live once, but that's not true. Like you live every day, you only die once. So basically just make the most of the opportunities you have now, and continue to be the man you are, or the kid you are, because you'll be a great man. What do you wish to overcome in the future? If I had to say something that I wish to overcome in the future, at first I was thinking just like success in general, but then, you know, me realizing who I am and who I want to be, it's not even overcoming success. I'm guaranteeing myself success. It's just overcoming the burdens that will come with my success.